Hey y'all, welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach. Normally my wife Jen is here with us, but today you all have got me. Sorry, I know, that's a bummer. But today, we got to thinking, we move our male goats. If you're new here, we rotationally graze our goats around, and we're right now getting them around our pond so we can clean that area out for pigs for next year. But our girls stay in this big pen, which we'll show you here in a minute, all the time. Now they got a lot more room to play with, and we call it our petting zoo, but it's also their turn to eat some fresh pine needles and some fresh greenery and all the good stuff that's around, even in the middle of winter, because we still have a lot that's left. So we have 3 Premier One fencings. I'm going to use one that we're not currently using. I'm going to set it up for them to then get in there and do a little grazing and do some more land clearing. The males have really done a great job for us. So it's their turn to get a little love. Now what we're gonna do with them, however, I'm not moving a home in there. They're just gonna have water and the green stuff. So at night, when it starts getting dark, which is about 5:30 this time of year, which is an incredible bummer, we're gonna move them back in with the chickens and the guineas and the ducks and all that stuff and into our petting zoo. So they're just gonna be out there on the nice days and when it's pretty, and then get to just eat some green grass. So that's the plan today. There might be a little conversation, speech, talk to here and there in this video. You never know what I might start rambling on with. But for now, we gotta get this fence up. So let's get right into it. So just to kind of give you a shot, this is what our entire land looks like. This is what it looks like when we first got up here and we cleared it off by hand before we had any kind of animals. It is just thick. It is an extremely thick area. And so the best thing for that, and you can see, I mean, we're talking up to my chest tall. In the summertime, you don't even stand a chance to get through here. So what the whole goal here is to allow the goats to really clean off our property for us. That way I can get in with a chainsaw and actually start taking down some of these locust trees. We used to call ourselves Locust Hill Farm because all we have are these thorny locust trees and pines and cedars everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And so the problem with those is they're more, I call them a bush, because they're like an annoying bush. They don't get big and tall like an oak tree or a sycamore or something really beautiful. They stay small and bush out, and they are like right at your level. So it's so hard to get through them just because they're so thick. And so when you have all this stuff around, goats absolutely love it. So why not use them instead of paying somebody, I don't know, $3,000 to come out here and clear off our land for us, which we would love to do, but this is such a large expense and it's kind of hard to justify it when the goats are allowed to eat it anyways. So where we're at right now is with our males, oh, Punk, Charlie, and this is what they've done so far. This is outside of our fence, and they've cleaned off this entire area. I mean, I can walk through it, and I actually haven't even had to get a chainsaw in here. They've done so well because they've just destroyed everything down and done an awesome job. So now we need to start maximizing our time here. It's a lot of work to move these male goats around in this 100-foot fencing. Let me rephrase that. Moving this fencing is super simple. You see me do a million videos about it. That's why we're not gonna focus so much on that today. But like moving the house and making sure they're set to actually stay the night in their new pen is a little extra work. So just putting a goat in a fence is a lot easier, and that's what we're gonna do with our females. So we have this second fencing that I've already started to take down. You can see right there and right there. And so I'm actually gonna take them over to the other side because it is breeding season and we don't wanna get them all stirred up and possibly get over the fence or whatever it is. So they're going to the other side of the pond and they're gonna start cleaning out over there. Let's get this fence taken up and we'll go over there. Here's actually a good shot of the pond. When it's in the spring or summer, it's sometimes really hard to see just because it's so covered up. But as you can tell, it does hold water. It does have a little bit of a leak, but just see how untouched it's been for so long. That's why we want pigs so bad. They will love this, and we will love them for it. The male goats are all jacked up. They think it's gonna be their turn, but it's not. So to kind of give you a little understanding of where you are on our property. So here's the females, there's the house. So if you just keep walking past, we're gonna put them over here. There's the pond. And this is what they get to eat today. So if you go way back, and I'll actually link this on our end screen, because it actually is kind of a true, this is how you move Premier One fencing kind of thing. This is where we was gonna put the male goats the very first time I was gonna move them. But we had an extremely bad horsefly problem up in here. And so I had to move them to the other side. Now it's winter, horseflies are gone. I'm hoping they can get in here and really dig this stuff out. Maybe next year we won't have near as much problem. So that's where they're going for the day. We'll get this fence up real fast. Fence up. And I know I didn't give a whole lot of me actually putting this fence up. However, I want you all to know it's the simplest thing in the world, especially if you have a clear path. Really the only hard part is if you say have to mow or whatever it is, like I have to do in the spring and the summertime, to try to clear a path so your fence isn't caught on anything. But where I have already actually done this one, I know pretty much exactly how far 100 foot would be. And it just made it super simple to put this up. I think it honestly took me 10 minutes to really get it up. Your biggest thing is making sure your spikes don't get into the wires, and that gives you a little tangle. But it's extremely easy, and they are gonna have so much to eat. So all I gotta do is just hook the power up, put the goats in it, give them some water. Done. That easy. But y'all hang out, we still got something to talk about. Battery hooked up, if I can point right, there it is. I just checked it and made sure we had power all the way across, and now it's time to get the females over in here. They're finally in. I tell you what, Anna, I was able to just got her right in here. Elsa, the black one, a little bit more of a pain. This is their first time ever being moved. So that was to be expected. I didn't think it'd be that hard, because she trusts us 100%. But for some reason she didn't know what was going on, so she wasn't a big fan of it. But we're good now. They're enjoying, they're eating up a storm. What do you think, ladies? Hopefully they make it a little bit easier to go back into their house than they did to come in here, but we'll see. Time will tell. Okay, I think I finally caught my breath. I wanted to talk to y'all about one more thing. You know what? Isn't it funny how, like, because we're huge gardeners. So once the garden's gone, you're like, oh, we're gonna have so much time to do all these things. Never turns out being that way. It always seems like you fill up your time with something. So like during the summer with the garden, you know, the animals got moved, but not near as often. Now we're shifting our focus, you know, fully to them, making sure their maintenance is up. Obviously you do your dewormer and any kind of things that they need that wise, medication wise, throughout the whole year. But you just make sure everything's up to par with your animals. It's time to give them a little focus now that the garden's down. But that constantly keeps your workload up. And when your workload is up, normally your mental state might not always be its best. And what I mean by that is when we aren't, it's not overwhelmed, it's normal day stuff. You know, nothing about this is not the norm. But when you don't have time to just kind of relax, you can let your brain accept negative items. One of those is fear. So when fear has entered you, it's hard to get rid of. If one little thing happens and it accepts that fear into yourself and into your mind, it then transfers into your family, and then you start fearing a lot of things. Things that you would never fear in any other day situations, but now that it's in you, you start second guessing everything. So what I mean by that is safety. For you, for your animals, for whatever it may be, you start thinking that there might be weak spots. There might be spots that something could happen or this and that when it's still untrue. Once you get past that, you start fearing the inevitable, stuff that we can never predict, like car crashes, any kind of freak accidents that could happen that could cause harm. You start worrying more and more about little injuries, you know, being in the goat pen with Charlie. You start fearing not just hurt, but the worst case scenario, death, whatever it may be. So as we're getting into this extremely gloomy season, I want you all to really try to conquer letting those fears and those worries and those things from entering your mental state. The best way I've known to be able to do that is by just really fighting the positivity. You know, I know how it works. I know that my personality is beneficial in this manner because it's just, things are positive to me. I always see the positive first. And it's not a bad thing, it's just kind of the way we're made up. Some people see things differently. So I know for me saying that, it's a little bit easier. But you really got to focus hard on not letting the negative enter you. And really trying to just surround yourself with positivity. So if you feel that slightest moment to where you're uncomfortable, or sadness or fear or anger is starting to enter your body, immediately do whatever it is that makes you happy. I don't care what time of day it is, whatever it is, stop what you're doing to feel that way and go do that positive thing that does make you happy. For me, for example, it's listening to music and being outside. I love being outside. You know, when we're in this time of day or this time of year, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to get out, but you still can. That might just be like going to town. It might be getting in the car and taking a ride, even on a gloomy, cold day, and listening to music. So I always have music playing, I always have uplifting stuff playing, and that gets me and keeps me upbeat. So maybe yours is reading a book. Maybe you like to read and that brings you joy. Maybe you like playing with your dogs, playing with your farm animals, getting your hands dirty in some dirt, and maybe just planting something. Whatever it is, even if it doesn't make sense, like planting in December, if you're in 6B like us, do it. Do it because your mental state needs it. And when your mental state needs it, you need to listen to it. And so you don't start allowing those weak moments to where fear and anger and stress fall into your place. We have the holidays coming up. That's a joyful time, but also can be an extremely stressful time. You know, there's a lot of money that's being spent around on a holiday that some believe in, some don't believe in. However, we all know that the true meaning of Christmas is the birth of our Jesus Christ. And so that's why it's okay to celebrate some of these things and keep that joy. I don't want, because I'm seeing it. Yeah, obviously I'm getting to a point here. When I see family and friends and just different people on social media start to feel a little bit of that anger and that fear in either a status or how they're acting or how they're talking, I worry for them. I hope that they don't continue to go down that road and then maybe get into a dark place that they can't come back from. You can come back from anything, but get down into that dark place to where nobody wants to be and it feels like a sinking hole to that person. So if you need positive vibes, talk to us. We're happy, joyful people. We love to just spread joy and talk. If you need something else, you know, do that thing that makes you happy. What is that one thing? And you might be like, well, nothing makes me happy. Nothing really gives me, I can't just stop what I'm doing and go do it. What makes me happy is going on a cruise. You know, I get it, but there is something. There's something that in a day-to-day life that you can stop whatever you're doing and go do it and be happy with it. And I just want you all to promise me that you will try it. You at least try it. And I know it seems like sometimes it might be impossible to literally stop what you're doing and go do that fun thing. But it is possible because we get to control what we do with ourselves and no one can tell us what we can't. So that's what I am urging you all to do in a time like this winter when it can be, even though I got a blue sky today, even though when it can normally be extremely gray, go find fun, go be happy. Don't let the weakness of fear, stress, and anger come into your mental state because you're too good for it. You're too strong for it, and we ain't got no time for that business, do we? All right, y'all. So a little bit today of just kind of showing you another chore that we do out here on the Stivers homestead. We love our animals. You know, you all know this. We love them a lot. So we try to make sure that they have the happiest hap life that they could ever have around here. And one thing for goats is eating some green stuff, not being rolling around in mud and straw and just having to eat alfalfa pellets and grain. So, not grain, pellets. It's part of the stuff that we try to do. That's why we love this Premier One fencing so much. It's amazing. Again, I am not affiliated with them. I truly just love the product. And I hope that if you hit this video because you wanted to hear a little bit about positivity and get away from fear and anger, hopefully it helped a little. I know it wasn't one of those things like he had all the answers, but I hope at least maybe you'll try it one time to just stop what you're doing, go find your happy, go listen to music, go read a book, go just sit outside, or go just take a drive, whatever it may be. Everyone's in our prayers as always. We love you all. We hope as we get closer and closer to this holiday season, I guess we're in the season, but closer and closer to the day, your lives are full of joy, full of happiness. We love y'all, and until the next one, bye.